Hey everybody, this is Kathy, Crowder's Mountain, North Carolina. You see what we got going on today. This is called Cathedral Window. And before I start showing you how to draw it, I was going to tell you there's several different versions of this with different centers. There's a round version with the center that's round, and it's got different kind of stars in the middle, and some people leave the circle blank and put a decal, but I decided to do it the way one of my subscribers wanted me to do it. She sent the picture and said, would you do this one? And I always wanted to figure that out. And now I'm going to show you the pattern, how I figured out how to draw it. And there may be an easier way, but I don't know it. So I can only show you what I know. But I wanted to put up this video so that if you have been wondering how to draw the cathedral window, I have figured it out the simple way. So let's get started on it. And I'll show you the colors at the end of the video. Okay, here we go. Now, the way I like to do it, because I've got a border on that, so I've already drawn my 1-inch border off, and I didn't feel like you guys needed to see that. I just marked off 1 inch all the way around and connected my tick marks. Now, I'm using this, it's called a demonstration compass. It's from Bullseye, and I found it on Amazon. And I put me a little nail in my board, and I'm just hanging. This is where the suction cup came, and I just pulled it off. So that's where I'm hanging my nail on that. And I've got my compass set at 11, so that way I want that circle touching this border. That's what I'm aiming for. So, you know, I'm drawing this on paper so that the lines will show up for you guys. I've already drawn it on my board and painted it, but this is just for you so that these lines will show up. So here we go. I'm going to stick this magic marker in here and see how I do. Got stuck. All right. Can y'all see that okay? All right, so I've got my line all the way around. I got my circle. Now the next thing, I want to draw another circle that's 3.5 inches shorter than this one, or smaller. So I'm putting it on 7.5. And let me get another marker to see if that would work better. All right. Now see, I'm just sort of pulling against that, not hard, but just sort of pulling against it to keep the tension on. And that one's not going to work as good as the other one. Let's get rid of him before I use him again another day. Let's try this one. Yeah, you can see that one. All right, now we've got our 2 circles. Now that's the only circles that we're going to make. Now I've got my pattern already drawn on another piece of paper where I was trying to figure it out. So I'm going to be referring to that because there's no way I could remember all this. So the first thing that we want to do is draw some lines. So I'm just going to make, from the end of this circle, I'm drawing a line all the way down to the other end of the circle. I'm going to do the same thing this way. So that was vertical, we're going to do horizontal. Make sure you cross right into the center now. Alright, so we've got those two. Now we're going diagonal. But again, we're only drawing our line to the end of the circle. Making sure we cross in the middle here. Oh, look what I did, and I told y'all not to do that. Just draw it to the circle. I'll get rid of that little bit while y'all not looking. Alright, we're going to do it again on the other side. So we're making from corner to corner, but just from our circle, just inside the circle. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines made. Now we've got to make another line that's in the middle of this. Now, the only way I know how to do that and get it right is this arc. So if you've got a protractor or something like that, that's what you're going to want to use, and you want to get it lined up perfect. Alright, so this is 55, right? 45. Let me get another pen so I can show you these tick marks. So it's 45, so the center is going to be 22 and a half. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm making a tick mark at 22 and a half. Now you may know another way to find the center of this. That's what you want, the center. But this Pacific arc, and mine's 12 inches, so I'm not sure, it's not available on Amazon anymore, so I'm still trying to search for one, and maybe it'll come back up and be available, but that's what this one is. But I don't think that you would have to get 12. You could probably get 10. It's going to be the same thing, I think. You're just going to have to, your measurements might be lower, but it won't matter as long as it's on 22 and a half. 22 and a half, 15, 20, 22 and a half right here. 15, 20, 20. So I'm just going around marking it at 22 and a half. Okay, so now I found the center of each one of those. I'm going to draw my lines again. And this time, we're going all the way across. That blue one back. See, we're lining our dots up with the center here. Now, when you're marking yours on your board, I always say this, when you're marking yours on your board, your lines are not going to be anywhere near this thick. It's just these magic markers or Sharpies. You know, they got the getting that on there. They got the thick ends to them, so. And those other ones, I've got some thin ones, fine point. I'm gonna have to see if I can look around in Michael's or somewhere and see what I can find that might show up, but won't be quite as thick as these. All right, so all we did was connected these tick marks. See? All right, so now that is one part. And now we're gonna draw the star in the middle. So we're making tick marks to do that. And I think I can use my small ruler. So let's go in the middle here. And we need a line that's 4 inches long, but we need it to start in the center. So I'm putting 2. I need it 4 inches long, and it has to be centered with the center of our pattern. So I'm not sure if you can see this purple or not. I always worry about y'all not being able to see these tick marks. Let's do this red one again. Alright, so I'm going to put a tick mark here and one here. And then we need another one this way. Line it up on that vertical line. Put it right on 2 and make you a tick mark at 4 and 0. So we got 4 inches long. Alright. So it's every other one. So this one has a tick mark, that one doesn't. This one needs one. So we're going to put that 2 right in there again. I did the vertical and horizontal first just to keep us straight. So that one doesn't, that one does, that one doesn't, and this one needs one. So it's every other one. I'll say that a couple of times. Alright, so you see there? Every other line's got a tick mark. And that's 4 inches long. Now we need to make tick marks that are 8 inches long on the other ones. So we're going to put 4 into the center. And we're going to mark it at 8 and 0. Let's go find the other one that doesn't already have tick marks. Put that in at 4. Here's 8 and 0. And here's the other one. Four. Right in at 4. There's 8 and 0. And this one. Don't get mixed up with these other ones where we drew those lines now. These are just the 4 inch and 8 inch. So every one of these lines now has a tick mark in here. Now let's draw the star. So that's what these lines were for. So I'm going to start at the 8 inch at either one of them and draw it down to that 4 inch mark. See that? I'm going to do it again. From the 8 to the 4. I know my tip marks is a little off-centered, but that's because of these fat markers. Don't be like that on your board. So you don't want to get confused with that other. Okay, there's our star. Now, so that I don't forget to say it, each one of our blocks is divided in half. Each one of our blocks is divided in half. Let me show you. So you see our lines, our guidelines divided that for us. So that was what I was talking about. These lines are part of your pattern. See this? See this star? So you're going to paint the ones on the left a light color and the ones on the right a dark color. So just stay right with your dark colors on this whole entire board. That's what happens. You always stay right with your dark colors as you're spinning it around painting it. All right, so we've got the star. Now we need to know how to do the second. I call that the first layer of points. Now we're going to do the second layer of points. We're going to mark it all the way to that circle point. You know where I drew the circle? I sure hope y'all could see that circle. See that? See this circle? That's where we're going to put, we only have to have the ruler. So I put one here. Now I'm going inside those 2 points, and I'm putting another one here. Over here, I'm going to put another one. All right, inside these 2 points, I'm going to the circle now. That's why I drew that second circle too, so I wouldn't have to measure so much. All right, here we go again, right here. And right here. And here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 points here that we just made those tick marks. Now, okay, easy. So we made those tick marks at the circle, right? So now all we have to do is draw down to the point of the star. From that tick mark to the point of the star. See what I'm doing? Trying to keep my head out of your way. All right, see, we've got our other half. And these guidelines separate these because we're going to have dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, just the same as we're going to have in the center of the star. Okay, let me pull it back down and get you back up so you can see it. If you wanted to take a screenshot of when I done the lines, I had to roll it back and do it. Take a screenshot of the lines. That would be like step 1, and then drawing the star out would be step 2, and then this is step 3. You could do that and have your pattern in sections. Might be easier for you to work with. Okay, now, see, we've got our second row. We need to draw our third row. And we just finished these. And now we're going to draw these. Here. All right. Now, I'll tell you how I figured out how to do that. If I can remember. So let me think about that a minute. That's right. All right, so these points here are going to go to this inside circle too. These points are. So how I figured out how to make sure that they are all in line, I just found the point. See this, the point of that second layer we did? I found a point there, and I'm lining it up where I'm going to draw my line. So I'm lining it up right here. See that? I know it's kind of hard to explain, but I needed it to line up here. So I went down, all the way down, and found me a place that it connected to with that ruler so that I could make sure it had a straight line. And they're all in the same place. So that this other one, see, I'm going to go I'm going to go to this one. So it's going to be at points. The point of the star every time. So let's do this one now. We'll line it up with this one. And that way, like I said, they're all going to be the same size, and I don't have to measure how long these lines are. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you could measure and say, well, not here, here. So they're like 2 1/4. So if you wanted to come along right here and make you a tick mark at every 2 1/4, you could. But this was just seemed to me like it was the easiest way. Come right over here. See how I lined it up? Lining it up with that second row. The point of the second row. I'm trying to get that on there. So lining it up with the circle, and it's like 1, 2, 3. It's like the third one past where you're at. If that makes sense. That's where you're lining it up. 1, 2, 3. You just go all the way around doing that, and you'll have it. Find the place where I'm supposed to be. Almost finished. I know y'all hear that weed eater. It's all right. Alright, now we've got to draw some more lines. 'Cause this is what we're drawing now. We're drawing our 1, 2, 3, our 4th layer. That's what we're drawing. You see these yellow ones? So we're drawing our lines now. That's going to help us draw this and our last ones. So it's kind of a little bit tricky if you don't use that arc or protractor. But here's how I figured it out. I'm going to use purple so y'all can see it. Alright, so I need this line to be 4 inches from the center of each one of these. So we're going to draw one in each one of these little sections here. Now, how I figured it out, I put my ruler in here on 8, right? And I need that to be in the center. So I came down and found me a point between these stars that if I lined it up with that point and this point, it's directly in the middle. And I'm going to draw it out 4 inches. See that? Alright, now I'm going to put it on here again at 4 and find my connecting place. And when you find that one in between those stars points, you'll know exactly you're in the middle. Do it again. Put it on 8 because we need that to be 4. And let's find us a connecting point, and right there it is. Connecting point, I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. Measuring point. Yeah, because we're measuring it in the middle. But that makes it, if you find the right one, we're drawing 4 inches, 4-inch lines. Put the 8 right in here. I found my point back here. I'll put that one in the middle. See, that didn't work. See, it's not, you know, it's not going to be half, so I have to find one that's, I guess you'd think it's parallel to it. Is that the right words? Some geometry people, where you at? Help me. It. Alright, y'all. Here it is. See, I have to find it. I'm upside down. Alright. Put my 8 right there. And there it is. So you can see it. When you're on it, you can see it. See, what I'm trying to do here is to make sure I got it on the right one. I don't want to mess y'all up, me trying to tell you what to do. Not what to do, how to do. Then mess you up. I didn't get that exactly. So I got it switched around now, and I'm doing from 0 to 4. Look at me. You see it? Catch it. Catch it when you can, because that was wrong. Look how far off I was. It still ain't right. Now that's better. I'll get rid of that too before you have to take a screenshot. I don't want nothing messing you up. Almost finished. Let me find my place. It's hard to find. Now I'm back to the other side of the ruler. One more. So it's always going to be in between those star points is where your guideline is. So, okay, now we've got it. Let me change colors. So it's got it all the way around. You might want to take a screenshot of that. So what we're going to do now is use this color, and all we have to do is go to the end of this and connect it to the top of that one. See that? So we're just going to connect it. You see that pattern starting to take shape now? And again, now you're going to have your heat erasable pen or whatever your favorite marking tool is, and your lines are nowhere near as fat as mine. See, that's all I'm doing. Just connecting my lines now. Okay, so these was 4 inches, remember that. I may come along and put the measurements in there I don't know if there's room to write it or not. Okay, so we just got through with our 4th layer. Now for the last layer, we're home free. But all we have to do now is just connect that together. And I'm going to try to find another color of marker so you can see what I'm doing. We'll just use this black one. All right, this, like I said, we're home free because see these lines that we made to start with? You know, when I first started out, I said they really wasn't part of the pattern. They were guidelines. They are guidelines, but they really are part of the pattern because that's what divides your sections in half. And if they wasn't there, you'd have to go try to find the middle of each section. That'd be kind of hard to even draw it. You see what I'm doing? All I'm doing is connecting it. There's our line, our original line, and I'm connecting it to the top of that, what did I say that was? 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th. I'm connecting it to our 4th layer. That's kind of what this is. It's just layered, really. You just try to do one at a time. Once you start, pretty soon, you got your cathedral window all drawn, and you're ready to start the fun of painting. Of course, this is fun too, I think. Let me pull that down a little bit. I know I'm probably getting my head in the way. Okay, here you go, look. And guess what? Unless you really just want to, you do not have to tape up that circle, nor this one. Well, you couldn't do that one and mess up your pattern, but you actually could tape that up and have this inside another color. I'm not sure what that would do to the pattern. But you see what I'm saying? I didn't tape up the circle. I just taped around my cathedral window and I put gray for the background. All right, let me let you take a screenshot of that. See what I got over here that I can get rid of those lines with. Well, that don't work. See if this one will. I just don't want that to be in your way when you take a screenshot of it, and it might be a year from now before you decide to paint it, and you won't remember what those boo-boos were. All right. So let's see if I can maybe sew. This line is 4 inches. That one's 4. Now, I mean 2 here and 2 here. That's 4 inches. So I'm going to put 2 inches right here so you'll know that it's 2 on each side. Will that mess you up too bad? Alright, now this one is 8 inches. That's a 4 inch. So it's 4 inches every... Yeah, this one's 8 inches. So it's 4, 8, 4, 8, 4, 8, 4, 8. So it's 4 inches on each side. Remember that. But the whole line is 8 inches. And then this one ends up being 5.5, but you don't have to worry about that. Just go from here to here when you put your circle. But now the circle is, I put mine on 11 inches, so it made it a 22-inch circle. And then I went down 3.5. So the second circle, is 3.5 inches smaller than the first. Okay. And then we found these lines and measured them up, making sure we was getting into the center. And then we just connected that and connected them. That's what we did. So I think if you get this right, get your circles right and get this right, you're about home free. It looks more complicated than it is. Now, other people draw this and they may have another way to do it. And if they've got an easier way to do it, then by all means, use their way. But this is Kathy's way from Crowder's Mountain. It's the only way she knows how. So I have to show you what I know. All right. Take your screenshot. Take your screenshot right quick. And take your screenshot of this one. Now I haven't put sealer on this yet. But now let me show you the colors. Now I have colors that I have all these colors. But if you had dark yellow, just put a little white in it and lighten it up. You just need a dark and light of each thing. You don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of paint. So I used English Daisy for the dark. There and on here. That 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 layer of 4. And then I used honey glaze for my light colors. So English Daisy and honey glaze. And before I forget it, I'll try to put it in the description where to go find these bottles. But use code Kathy10 and get 10% off. And I don't, I'm not sponsored or anything. I just asked her for the code and she gave it to me. So that was the yellow. Now let's do the blue. For the blue, I used Miracle at Wrigley for my dark and Something Borrowed for my light. You see? And for the red, I used Cut Ruby because I wanted a dark red, and then something a little bit lighter, and I used Classic Red. So you see. All right, then that was the red. Now the purple, I used, my favorite purple is Purple Prince. And then I used Mixed Signal. So it was just a a dark purple and a little bit lighter purple. Now for my orange, I used Island Orange, and I used Pumpkin Butter for the lighter shade. And for the background, I used Silver Bullet, which was a light gray. And for the outside border, you know, I started to paint that another color. And when I pulled the tape off, and see, I had that white from Kiehl's, I couldn't paint that to save my life. I loved it just having that white border. And so I painted it with ultra white. I couldn't leave the Kiehl's, you know what I'm saying. All right. So that's it. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you subscribe and click the bell for notifications the next time I have a video to upload. And if you didn't understand something that I said, just leave me a comment below. And if you would share this video with your friends, I would appreciate it. I've got, let's see, 2,106, I think. That's what I saw this morning. So our little channel is growing. So somebody out there liking barn quilts, I hope y'all do. I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.